Emily now with the press review, and she's starting with a look at the French papers, their coverage of France's recognition of the state of Palestine. What do you have?
Well, let's start with l'Humanité. They have quite a striking front page today here, a picture by artist Dugudus, France's Marianne, wearing a Phrygian cap and keffiyeh and embracing Palestine. Finally, their headline reads, the left-wing paper has historically supported the Palestinian cause. Now, Macron will be announcing France's recognition of the state of Palestine at the UN in New York later today, along with 9 other countries. L'Humanité calls it a first key victory towards the construction of a two-state solution. Let's look at Libération now and their front page. Here, a historic step. They call it a photo of Macron's outstretched hand. Now, the paper is not usually a great fan of the president, but it says that without Macron, the concept of Palestinian statehood would be left behind in France. La Croix also covering the story on their front page this morning here, calling it a powerful gesture, but not an end in itself. It highlights that Palestine was already recognised by 148 states and adding 10 more, including 2 Security Council members to that list, will have huge legal and diplomatic consequences. Le Figaro has a slightly different take on the situation here, calling it a risky move. The paper wonders if it might not be a pointless diplomatic stunt and says that the Palestinian people might have to pay a price for the symbolic gesture. Finally, from France, L'Opinion has this front page hit today saying that Macron is going all in. They have this cartoon in the corner there showing Macron facing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who says, quote, "I thought I had succeeded in making Palestine unrecognisable."
What about the international papers? What are they saying, Emily?
Well, let's start in Belgium with the paper Le Soir here on their front page. One of the 10 countries to recognise Palestine today. It calls it a symbolic turning point and discusses the 10 countries most likely to take part: the United Kingdom, Belgium, Canada, France, Australia, Portugal, Luxembourg, Malta, probably New Zealand, and most likely Liechtenstein. But the paper focuses on the countries not making that list, including the United States, Japan, South Korea and Germany. Now, heading to Australia with the Murdoch-owned paper The Australian, it's looking at the different reactions across the political spectrum in the country. The right-wing opposition alliance accuses Prime Minister Albanese of playing into Hamas's hands. The paper calls the move premature and absurd. Now, heading to Portugal with the Diário de Notícias, they have this front page here today. And they're quoting the foreign minister here, saying that it's the only path to a just and sustainable peace. Now, heading to the UK, and The Guardian, the left-wing paper, has this opinion piece today. It hopes that the recognition of a Palestinian state will be a call to action and not just conscience-solving. It says that promoting a mirage of statehood without taking meaningful action to stop the conflict would actually just be cruel. On the right of the British press, The Times has this front page: Palestine recognition, great prize for Hamas. It features comments from Israeli officials as well as family members of some of the hostages taken on October 7th. And finally, L'Orient Le Jour, the French language Lebanese paper, says finally, but maybe already too late. It says the move is vital and insufficient at the same time, and it is as late as it is desperately needed.
Philippines now for this different story. Seen a wave of anti-corruption protest.
Exactly. Well, let's start with the press in the Philippines and the Daily Inquirer here. Protesters vow flood of cases against the corrupt flood of cases, of course referring to the billions of pesos worth of government funds for flood control projects which were reportedly stolen. Now protesters demanding accountability and jail sentences for those responsible. Staying in the Philippines here with the Star Trillion Peso March, punish the corrupt. The article looks at the so-called ghost infrastructure projects, which reportedly siphoned off at least 118 billion pesos between 2023 and 2025, the equivalent of around $2 billion US. But environmental groups say that that number could actually be closer to 18 billion US. Now, South China Morning Post has this article here today. It says that the protests are a legacy-defining crisis for the President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. It goes through the origins of the movement, from reactions to recent flooding to Nepo baby government contractors flaunting their extreme wealth on social media. The article says that so far the president's anti-corruption efforts have not been convincing. And finally, on this story, the Asia Times, a Hong Kong-based English language paper, says that the Philippines looks like the next powder keg to blow in the region. It notes the similarities between recent protests in Indonesia and Nepal, where mass protests, Gen Z-led quite often, have denounced corruption and extreme wealth.
Let's calm things down. Emily's got some relaxing news for us. This is from Rome.
Very relaxing news, especially for our furry friends and any pet lover. This is an article in the Associated Press here. Rome's airport is opening a luxury dog hotel, an alternative to kennels. Now, rooms start at €40 a night and include air conditioning, access to public gardens. But if you pay a deluxe €6 fee, Stuart, you can also get your dog aromatherapy, calming music, and an option for round-the-clock video calls, so you can contact them when you want.
OK, €20 extra for all of that?
Yeah.
Worth it for your pooch, isn't it? I don't know what you
Bargain.
think. Yeah, very bargain. Emily, thanks a lot. Emily Boyle there with the papers for us on France 24. All the latest news coming up for you straight after the break. Do stay with us.